Hello, folks, and welcome to episode 39 of GingerLion's Agrarian Skies map playthrough. This map and mod pack is available on the Feed the Beast launcher. So, last two episodes I've worked on bees. Today I'm going to work on a little something different. So, I need to hand in a couple of quests. I actually need to make the items to hand in a couple of quests. I think I can get 3 of these done very quickly here. So, Colder Than A requires 160 buckets of gelid cryothium. The gelid cryothium, is made by melting cryothium dust. Cryothium dust is made with snowballs, redstone, niter, and the thing I don't have, blizz powder. Blizz powder, well, if I had blizzes, I could crush them up. But the easier answer, on this map pack at least, is to take snowballs and infuse them with destabilized redstone. So, I've got this set up, exporting redstone into here. I've got this set up with snowballs into here, and it's one by one infusing those snowballs. So, that's making me blizz powder. And I did a little bit of math and came to the conclusion that I need 800 blizz powder to make what I need. I have 50. So, I've got a little bit more to go. But the Pyrothium quest, Great Balls of Fire, takes 50 buckets of blazing Pyrothium. Pyrothium dust is easy for me to make. I've made it many times. Every time that I've had to use Enderium, I've made it. And you use it in the magma crucible, and it makes 100 millibuckets each, which means I needed 500. So, I've got a little bit more than 500 here, and what I'm going to do is set up a machine to make it and immediately export it into a QDS, and then I'm going to run that machine until it's finished with this one, and then I'm going to move on to the gelid cryothium melting. So, Magma Crucible was exactly what I want, and I don't have a QDS right now, but I have a spare book. So, if I recall correctly, the quest delivery system goes like this, and there's another one. It gives you the book back. So, I would like, let's see, I have Emmy right here, and that's where I'm actually making the snowballs, so it's kind of apropos, as it were. I'm going to have this output out this side, and I'm going to go ahead and put the QDS down. Now, since my first task is going to be Great Balls of Fire, I'm going to select it, bind it, grab myself a chest, and I'm going to grab a big one just because the gelid cryothium is going to be a lot more than this blizz is. And I guess I need a hopper. I could take an item duct, but vanilla hoppers are such an easy thing, and they have such a little draw on the system that it seems to me to be the better solution. So, go ahead and... Oop. Not like that. So the QDS is already bound. Good. This is already set with plenty of power. It's outputting to the correct side. All I gotta do is toss my Pyrothium in there. It's going to filter down into the magma crucible, be melted, and we're already 1% complete. So, I've got an automatic system working right now to make our blizz powder. So that's just fine. When I hit 800 of those, I'll shut that off, and then we can actually move forward to making the gelid cryothium. Now, what else do we have to do? Well, I'm pretty sure Sticky Situation is requiring 100 buckets of honey. That's going to require 1,000 total honey drops, or honeydew drops. So, I'm going to make myself a squeezer. And grab myself a fluid duct. There we are. And a servo. And an export bus. I'm going to go with a precision export bus. And I already have some cable and some power lines. So, and let's make another one of these. And we can set up, here seems like a reasonable spot. Let's set this down. Set the squeezer down 1 block away. Now, again, I want to bind this quest before I get anything else going, just to make sure that I'm not wasting any of this honey by piping it into the void. Now, I want a fluid duct connected between these two, outputting like that, with a servo set to ignore redstone. Good, simple enough. And now I would like to take my export bus, and I guess the closest is right up there. And set this to export honey, which it's immediately doing, and export honeydew once it runs out of honey. So, let's just verify. The honey quest already has 500 millibuckets applied to it. So there's 2 quests that are ticking away, 3 actually. So, what's next? Can we get more done? Well, squeezing seeds. We need 160 buckets of seed oil. Seed oil, which as you see can only be stored in a capsule, no buckets, or a drum I guess, is made by squeezing, surprise surprise, cherries or berries of any kind or nuts. We've already gone through this in the process of making ourselves the seed oil required to make our paneling. So let's see, do I have a squeezer set up at some point here? There's a centrifuge. Here are all these squeezers. Are they all set up with seeds? They are, which means that we should already have a whole bunch of seed oil in our system. Let's go find out how much. We have 50 millibuckets of seed oil. That's very interesting. So, is that because I'm out of seeds? It is. That's why. That's a perfectly good reason. I wonder if, well, I wonder if it'll squeeze onion seeds. Let's find out. Probably not. This mod is pretty conservative in what it allows you to work with. It's or dictionaried to seeds. I'm going to go find out because I'm pretty sure it won't, but not a thing. Okay, so I'm going to have to get a little bit of farming done of one kind or another, but since we have to set up a farm anyway, let's be efficient about this. We need to find out what our best choice for seed oil is. So, we're talking about the squeezer. Cherry is 0.05 buckets, 0.05, 0.15 for the hazelnut, 0.18 for the butternut, 0.18 for the walnut, butternut or walnut, oh, chestnut, 0.22. Seed oil capsule full of it. Yeah, surprise. 0.22. Yeah. So, what does it take for us to get... I have cherry saplings, but no chestnut. So, let's go and check. Chestnuts come from the sweet chestnut tree, which is made from hill cherry and walnut? Okay. Common walnut. Yep. Hill cherry or silver lime, and I'm pretty sure I got both of those from a quest reward. I at least got hill cherry pollen. Good. So, what I need is to make the common walnut, which is silver lime and hill cherry, which is silver birch and apple oak. So, I'm going to do just a little bit of work. I want oak, which is apple oak, and birch. I do not have any birch saplings. That puts me in an interesting situation now, doesn't it? There is no recipe for birch. Wow. Does that mean I can't do anything with it at all? Birch seeds. Ah, there we go. So, what I want is that pollen filter. Wrong place. Maximum installed 1. And I'm going to plant those. Well, I just installed a collection. Oop. See, I've been poisoned by my bees. I just installed a collection more harvesters. So, and I'm clearly not particularly worried about the poison. If I was, I could go get some milk. But given how much life I have, it's not going to kill me. It may be unpleasant, but it won't kill me. And I'm going to plant a birch seed right here. There we are. And now, let's see. We have an open spot right here. So, what I'm hoping is that that will produce pollen out of this process, because I have a flowering upgrade in there. I think I'm going to take the flowering upgrade out and make 8 production upgrades. Didn't think so. Which, hopefully, will produce me sap pollen at a very increased rate, as opposed to just, occasionally. And I should go get my glasses. Spectacles? There they are. And I should come over here and look and see if anything has changed color yet. Nope, nothing. Okay, so we've got a couple of systems ticking away. We are working on breeding trees for our nuts. We are working on making cryotheum, which is blizz powder actually. And we've got 215. We need 800, so we're not in bad shape. Let's take a look at Great Balls of Fire. Completed. I'm going to take the reward bag. That was a relatively easy quest to hand in at this stage. Fluxed Electrum Blend. Not a bad thing to own at all. Put this back in here. Put my helmet back on. Eat my heart. I'm going to hold on to this because it'll be useful later. And how are we on sticky situation? 22%. Very nice. Ethanol. Ethanol should be easy enough for us to do. We need a still, I believe, and a biogenerator. Yep, okay, so no recipe for the biogenerator. Just a sec, let me look it up. Be right back, folks. Okay, so I was looking for entirely the wrong thing. What I need is the fermenter. Ah, so more gears. I keep using these, so might as well make a bunch. So, fermenter. I'm not sure how many stills can run off a fermenter. I think it's quite a number. So let's go ahead and make some more stills so that we can get this process up and running as well. Let's start with 4. So I want fluid ducts, servos, export buses, and another QDS, please. Okay, so let's go ahead. I have enough power conduit. We're going to be able to set this up just fine. There we go. Let's go ahead and build it this way over here. Pretty sure all of these machines require power, but I'll find out in just a minute. So let's start with the fermenter itself. And the fermenter needs fertilizer and something. So let's go ahead and grab... Oh, I grabbed the wrong bus. That's going to be a problem. So export bus, that should be more than enough. And I would like, I haven't taught my system how to make fertilizer. So let's look at, well, I'm planning on using saplings because I have 321,000 of them, which is too many, I admit, but composted into dirt, yup. In a fermenter with mulch, compost, or fertilizer. And I'm sure that, yeah, I have more than enough appetite. So let's just make some fertilizer. Let's say 640 of it. That should be enough for a moment. And I'm going to grab that for my own purposes. And let's go back over here. So, this is going to need... Actually, I can stick it on the side. It'll be just ever so slightly more compact. Yes, compact is a thing that I think about often when I'm building things. I would prefer to have more space left over when I'm done, because inevitably there's another machine you have to build. If not now, then someday. Let's ask this to move stacks. And no recipe was found for the supplied resources. Oh, because I need water. And I know that there's a water line, but I would like a fluid export bus and a bucket of water. So, there it is. Let me just hit F7 and make sure that I didn't produce any lighting anomalies around here. No, I seem to be good. Good. So, fluid export bus, set it for water. Give it a cable. And now it's ticking away, making biomass. So, I would like that biomass to come out here and pass over these 4 stills. And we'll see if it can handle 4 stills. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And a servo, and an empty hand. Ignored. Okay, so this should be, yep, sucking that out, putting it into the still, and the still is making ethanol. So, let's see what our conversion rate is. Well, this biomass is ticking upwards, so it's at least better, more capable than 1. So that should be just fine. I'm going to put a quest delivery system right here. I'm going to pull that, select task, bind to this here, and run some FluidX. Now, I do have to do things like worry about this afterwards, but quite frankly, all the resources that I'm using are not things that I'm particularly worried about. Obviously, I have so many saplings that I almost did not have any idea what to do with them up until now. So, I'm perfectly happy to use them to make this, and you'll notice it's 3% done already, and coming up rapidly. So, that pleases me. Let's take a look at our other quests. Sticky situation, 47%. There's ethanol, and colder than a. Okay. Where are we with Blizz powder? Not quite halfway done yet, but let's start our process anyway. So, I want Blizz Powder, and I want Cryothium. You know what? All of those are standard. There's only one of any of them. Encode it. Toss it in my system. Running out of space. That's fine. I don't mind upgrading one more time. So, now, let's see. I wanted 1,600 of the Cryothium. It can't make that, but it's gonna try. So let me get my basic export bus. This is going to be just fine for this circumstance. Now, I want to make sure, before I toss anything in anywhere, that that's bound completely. I'd hate to waste this. Cryothium dust. This is going to drop them in at a slightly faster rate than this can handle for the moment. We're now making cryothium dust and relatively quickly melting it into gelid cryothium. So, there's a couple of quests done. Let's see, how much liquid bees do I need? I need 100 buckets of liquid DNA. Let's see, I get 500 millibuckets from a princess, get 600 millibuckets from a queen, and I get 100 millibuckets. So I would need 1,000 drones, or a whole bunch of princesses. Let's see. It would be, for 100 buckets, I would need 200 queens. Better than 1,000. And it looks like all of the bees are standardized. Okay. That's the DNA extractor. Let's see if it's different if I use something else. Looks like DNA extractor and the squeezer are the only two ways of doing it. So, I'm perfectly happy with that. I'll make a DNA extractor. Relatively simple. Setting up for a whole bunch of quests here, and I kind of like to do that. It's easier to let a lot of these things run than just to try to get them done all at once. Now, this I'm going to run completely manually. I'm going to need quite a bunch of this DNA later. And I'm going to be really picky about which bees get fed into this. I'm going to do a lot of hive bees. I doubt I have 200 princesses that I want to get rid of right now. But let's go about this by getting this stuff out of my inventory. I definitely do want some fluiduct. That's good. Export bus is unnecessary right now. So, the first thing I'm going to do is come over here and put on my protective suit. It slows me down, but it keeps me from taking damage from all of the potentially dangerous bees that I have floating around. So, what I am comfortable doing is taking all but one of the drones from each one of these lines. Because they're all running validly and pretty rapidly. So, where do I want to do this? Right here, I guess. Here's my DNA extractor. I would like to put a tank of some kind on top of it, because I'm pretty sure it will automatically export directly to that tank. I'm going to go with the open blocks tank. It's expandable, and that's pretty cool in my opinion. So, let's go ahead and, yeah, I forgot at least one thing. Two things, in fact. Another one of these diamond chests. A item duct. I don't need impulse item ducts at all. And what else did I want? I'm pretty sure that this takes labware. I can steal it from other machines right here, but, you know. I think that this is just fine. That puts it really close to where I need to be to get bees in the first place. An item duct going like that, and set up not to interact here. Servo. Means that I can control this just by a simple right click. Some labware, and let's go ahead and toss my first 17 bees in here. And it immediately dumped that into this tank. Perfect. And in a similar way, I would like to put this here. I would like a fluid duct here. And then I want to make sure it doesn't connect to this tank. Select task, bind it, and export. Good. That's easy. And when the time comes that I'm doing more genetics work with these bees, I will remove this and replace it with any of the genetics machines. So, I'm going to spend just a little while these machines tick away, picking out some bees, setting them in here, setting them to basically be destroyed. All in the name of quest hand-ins. And I'll be back in just a little bit. So I went through, and as you can see, I knocked a lot of bees out of my containers here. Tossed them into this chest, got a full chest at the moment. It's loading in here, and we are 8% done. So, let's check in on our other quests and see where we're at. Actually, hey, even that is totally visible. So, let's go ahead and get my specs on. See if there are any other colored spots on these trees. No, it doesn't appear that there are. So, let me put my protective helmet back on. And I'm not going to use the industrial grafter. I'm just going to use the grafter. Because the grafter only... what's the proven grafter? That's proven sticks. That's fine. The grafter only breaks one leaf block, whereas the industrial grafter breaks a lot of leaf blocks. So, that is a silver birch, and it's probably crossed with the apple oak, because I just took it off an apple oak leaf. But let's see what pollens we have collected over the last little while. I have crystalline, banana, and hill cherry, which means I've gotten almost nothing. So, that quest is clearly going to take a bit longer. That's fine. Some of those leaves do look a different color up there. Do they stand out a lot with these specks on? No, they do not. That one does, though. That gave me a silver lime sapling, which is exactly what I was looking for. So, silver lime, when combined in the Mutatron with, let's see, where am I? I was going for chestnut. Which meant that I needed common walnut and hill cherry, or common walnut and silver lime. So the common walnut is silver lime and hill cherry. So this hill cherry pollen and the silver lime sapling that I just got will go well together, but I'm not going to use it immediately. Let's get the industrial grafter. Let's go charge it up. Right here. Because there's absolutely no reason for me to risk the silver lime species, and I should have a dozen saplings for it anyway. So, at the moment I don't have an axe. That's a silly thing. Let's grab myself an axe. I'm pretty sure the axe of the stream is right in here. I love having an axe that has repair 5 on it. That's just wonderful. Let alone the fact that it produces a monstrously fast chopping process. Oh, how pretty. I'd like all the saplings, please. And there, we now have 56 silver lime saplings. We don't have a hill cherry sapling, do we? I don't think we do. Amaranth. Let's do hill. Now, we only have the pollen for, so I can't do much with this. I could apply it to the leaves of a tree, but I'm going to take 28 of these immediately and toss them in here. Come over to my advanced Mutatron, and I'm going to put a silver lime sapling, hill cherry, tell it I want common walnut. Now, I could stop right here, because after all, the common walnut does make walnuts, which were a pretty good choice, but I'm not gonna. Instead, I'm going to do the exact same thing with this. Take it over here, bone meal it up. I won't take any more oh, I forgot. Let me make another one. Actually, I'm going to make 3 more. And I'll show you what the problem is. Do I have my trealizer? And some honey? Bet I don't have any honey. That's fine. I will take some out of my beelizer. And put the honey in. Good. So now, I'll show you what the problem is. If any of you have worked with these trees before... What? Oh, I have my glasses on. Common walnut. Lemon, wild cherry. Those are cool, but I don't really need them right now. The issue with the common walnut sapling is that it is a 2x2 tree. What that means is you need to put down 4 saplings and bone meal all 4 of them until they stop accepting bone meal for the tree to guaranteed grow. There's that. That one stopped accepting bone meal. That one stopped accepting bone meal. That one stopped accepting bone meal. And there is our tree. That's a pretty significant tree right there. So, once again, I'm going to use the industrial grafter to get all the saplings I could possibly need of common walnut. And that's plenty. I now have more than a stack. So I'll use the axe of the stream, which causes leaf blocks to decompose very rapidly. And gets me all the wood I could want. So now, I think I'm done with the silver lime, but let's find out. It's several stacks, turned out. Walnut wood, cherry wood, good. Now, to get to our chestnut tree, we need hill cherry and common walnut. And this is a 2x2 also. So, take those. This time I'm going to put my hat on as I walk by, just to make sure I don't take damage from these here bees. Common walnut, hill cherry, sweet chestnut. So there you are. This is the process by which you make yourself whatever saplings it is that you want. You do have to step up through the process, but by my standards it's much faster than the bees, mostly because you can bone meal things and you can use the industrial grafter to get not 1 and not 2, but dozens of saplings out of each generation, which means you don't have to grow multiple generations or particularly worry about losing a given species of tree. By the way, you notice that the axe occasionally pops down out of my hand for just a moment? That's it recovering some of its durability. So, and there's our sweet chestnut. Now, before I can use that, I need to go charge up my grafter. Luckily, it's relatively quick. And there we go. That's, let's see, well more than 2 stacks of. So once again, axe of the stream, take this tree down. Now, the next thing that we're going to need to do is set up a machine to pick these, but I think I'm going to do that off camera because you've already seen me set up one fruit picker, and I'm reasonably sure that the fruit picker will pick these nuts just fine. So, I'll be right back in a moment, folks. Okay, so, built myself a little bit of a walnut grove, had a couple of false starts in the process, and what I found is that the fruit picker does an absolutely wonderful job of picking walnuts off of these trees. Because of the size range upgrade that I used, it takes it a while to get around to all of it, but just a little bit, some of those will begin disappearing. Come on. There we go. See? Clearing them up in rows. When I come over here, I have put a fluxed upgrade in there. I tried a couple of different sizes. That's the best for the space that I have. And as you'll notice, ooh, I really thought it would be outputting the chestnuts here. That's very odd. It did before. Somehow it got 64 ME cable. Well, I haven't set it to import to the ME system yet, so let me do that and see if that resolves our problem. Let's see. Just because I think it looks a little bit less obtrusive, I'm going to run it straight along the ground to there before it joins up. Test it by tossing these in here. All is well on that front. I don't need these. Well, let me take a little bit of bone meal and bone meal a couple more of these. I'm not picking any of them myself. Now note, these are pretty tall trees. That means that there are three-dimensionally quite a lot of leaf blocks inside this area. I've packed the trees as closely as I can together to make sure that there are no voids or empty spots in there, and I hope that this will give me the maximum possible result. So, let me go check the system and see what sort of nuts we have. Well, we had 3 in the chest, so a 4th is a good sign, but not a great sign. So, let me come over here to see what's going on. Interesting. It looks like... So the range of these harvesters come right up to the edge of the leaf blocks, and it looks like that harvester removed every leaf block within its range. But since it doesn't actually touch the trunk, that was what I meant by I had a false start. At one point, this bumped up against one of these trunks because I made it on this level, and so it bumped into that line right there. It took my entire grove down, because all of the leaf blocks were touching. It literally shaved down every single tree in that entire area. It was pretty frustrating. Still only 4 chestnuts, despite it having obviously harvested a bunch. So let me break it and replace it and see if that straightens out the issue. I'm using the fluxed upgrade. There, that should do the job, right? I used a full stack of 64 bone meal, and those have been picked. Still 4 chestnuts. Well, I've got a significant issue there, and I'm not sure what it is, because it picked them a little before. Perhaps I need to restart. I'm not 100% sure. But I want to go and take a look at the other items that we had been working on in this period. So we're 66% done liquid DNA. Sticky situation, completely finished. Purple Princess. I'm going to claim that reward. A Purple Princess will allow me to make several of the purple items that are required for the Purple Quest. Works for me. 13 drying racks, not so good reward. I'm going to completely agree. That was a not so good reward. The ethanol quest, completely done. Industrial grafter, bottle of natural gas, rune of sacrifice, definitely the reward bag. The only thing that runs a chance of something I can't make myself pretty quickly and easily. Efficiency 3. It's not a horrible thing. And let's see, where are we at? We're 99% done on gelid cryotheum. We literally need 1 more cryotheum. So I'm going to come downstairs and start shutting down these machines that are making these things to make sure that I do not overproduce. That should make sure that no more snowballs get filled. I'm going to break this and break this to make sure that if these machines continue to make things, they at least don't export them into the middle of nowhere. Propolis is probably worth having at this point. I really don't have any need for this, but I'll break that up later. Here, QDS, I need to tell my machine to make me 1 more cryotheum. That's 2. It's exported. And 100% done. Limestone, a reward bag. And a Blizz spawner, which means that I could now create, using an MFR Safari Net, I could now make myself an infinite number of Blizzes. Bink. Bink. Ender Lily Seeds. I have so many Ender Pearls. How many do I have? I have 19,000 Ender Pearls. I think that's enough for a little while. And so the only thing we have tried on squeezing and liquid bees. Those 2, obviously going to have to hold for next episode. I hope you enjoyed the episode, folks, and I'm going to troubleshoot this fruit picker problem between here and there, and I'll tell you what my results are when I come back. See you tomorrow.